miss your chance to win a brand new 2022 Honda CRF 450 Works Edition for 10 bucks. Go to www.kaplancycles.com. Buy your ticket today.
Oh yeah! Come on.
Wow, that's right.
It's a big bore power.
Yeah, man.
Torquey thing.
Well, no wonder the front tire's original on it. It's never on the ground. Right?
So this bike has no time on it, and how do I know that? Well, a good friend of mine, Kenny Ives, actually hooked us up with this bike, and he had the top end apart. The original piston is like brand new. There's no scarring on the exhaust side, and the cylinder was like perfect. So it's put back together, but this bike is really, as it sits, it's a delight to ride. Yeah. It runs amazing. Transmission is fantastic. You know, carburete's really good. You know, from low idle all the way up to when it signs off. Just a super tight motor that's tuned well. And look at what's around it. The original tank with a little bit of wear, as you would expect from a motocross model, but the bike is all there. Yeah. It's just fantastic, Billy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, watching you ride the bike, Kenny, around the driveway here and accelerating off the bottom, right off the bottom, it's like the front end is lofted just this high. And that's a power wheelie. It's not one of these. It's right off the ground, shift through the gears. Just amazing power. It just puts down the power. And the motor is quiet. You know, my ear tends to listen to the bottom end, and I listen for piston slap. This thing is tight. It's clean.
Yeah, well, with an air-cooled bike, it's like the cylinder fins for cooling, they like radiate the sound, right?
Yeah, they ring.
They ring, right? It's like ringing a bell every time if there's any sort of slapping, right?
Yep.
In the top end. Yep. So guys, check it out. Runs fantastic. Original, unmessed with, unmolested KX400 race bike. And Billy and I were talking about how rare I don't even know if we've shot a video on these, on one of this model ever.
I don't think I've ever seen a KX400 of this vintage. Look at the bike has original handlebars.
Is that right, Bill? Those are original?
I think these. Well, I mean, when did they ever make bars this wide for dirt bikes? You know, and no brace. This is just, you know, typical of you know. I think the factory's trying to find their way back in the early 70s.
Right.
You know, trying to find what was right, what was the best for the riders. So these bars are, you know, pretty much unobtainium. I would say that most everybody took those off, put on brace bars. That's in my mind, that's another selling point. Another point where I'd be interested in buying them.
How about the seat, Billy? Would you go as far as to say that that's the original seat?
I would 100%. I looked it over pretty carefully, you know, and it's just shocking that something would have lasted that long. But that's just another sign that this bike has not had much use. And if that seat cover was replaced, I'd be shocked. I don't think it has been. This looks to be factory original. Along with the tank, I mean, those two items go together. And the bars and everything else.
Senior purchased over 80 motorcycles so far in January, and we're prepping for our February auction, and we had to pick our battles. So some bikes we serviced and got to a stopping point, and now we're offering them for sale. This is one of them. This bike is close to the finish line, but needs a couple of items before it'll actually be ready to take to Unadilla and ride in the pre-74 class. A couple of those things. The front brakes can drag a little bit on occasion. Also, the wheel set. The wheel set is the original. Some of the spokes were frozen, and they really should be rebuilt before the bike is ridden. Billy pointed out a couple of spokes in the front wheel were floating around in there. Aside from that, I believe the front hoop has a hairline crack as well. That's going to need addressing, either a weld or a replacement. And then lastly, the clutch is stuck. The clutch is frozen, so the clutch back is going to need to be disassembled, which is pretty standard for a bike that's sat for ages.
Yes.
And this bike was parked for probably the last 40 years, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. It's not an uncommon problem for a bike that's sat that long to find the clutch back stuck. And sometimes they'll come loose with just riding around with the clutch lever in, but you know, we've tried it with this bike and it hasn't worked. But
so as for our work order, spark tested good, put a new spark plug in it, replace the chain and tighten the front sprocket and lock tab, clean the carburetor surface in the ultrasonic tank, remove the fuel tank, flush the fuel tank with pressure washer, and set up with evaporust. The fuel tank is nice and clean. Drain and replace the transmission fluid, fresh gear lube, of course. Check the spokes, front rear wheels, and there was a couple of spokes that were seized and loose, so we stopped there. Nut and bolt, check over, 100 point, nut and bolt check, no other causes for concern. This is a solid bike. Brand new petcock, test rode the bike, and those are clutch wouldn't disengage. We tried to ride it around and get it to free up, and it would not. So we were careful with the transmission. The transmission is perfect, like can be ridden as you just saw. It's a race bike. You don't necessarily need to use the clutch to shift, but before she's ready to be taken to the races, the clutch needs to be serviced. So the three items that I pointed out there: replace the wheel sets, put a new clutch pack in it, and then go through the brakes as well. And you're gonna really have yourself managed.
yeah, this is a massive motorcycle, a great open class bike, lightweight, low. I mean, I can't imagine riding this in an arm road event. You know, in a classic motocross, I think it could be a winner chicken dinner because it runs and rides so nicely. Definitely represents the period very well. You know, with the suspension, short travel suspension, and all that. Original shocks and forks. This is a rare survivor, but they're going to be raced, in my opinion. They're going to be raced. What do you think?
Dude, it'd be a total pleasure. I've ridden a lot of open class pre-74 bikes, like that Mako 400 we took to Daytona for the vintage Supercross. And this is a really nice power plant, man. It's a good chassis. You know, the brakes are solid. They have potential, and that motor, the trans felt solid, and ergonomically, it's got a nice narrow tank. The Mako is like kind of square barrel.
Yeah. This has a real slim line to it, from top to bottom, slim line all the way. I can see there's no engine coming out to obliterate the ground. I can see. So, the engine is slim line, the tank is slim line. A great rider's bike, in my opinion. And these handlebars make it look even more slim.
Yeah, right.
They're so wide.
Well, I think the riding demo and the sounds that it makes, and the way that it performs coming up the hill and cosmetically being the original paint, I think the bike speaks for itself. So if you have any questions, call the shop line 860-454-7024. Message your zip code for a shipping quote. Our raffle is live, 22 raffle. We have a 22 CRF 450 Works Edition that we're selling $10 raffle tickets, drawing later this year. Go to kaplancycles.com. We also have apparel launching, some Kaplan America apparel that you can also find at kaplancycles.com. But bid high and bid often, this will be gone first week. Low reserve, low entry cost, being sold as is. Our loss, your gain. This is a bike that could easily be a 10. Could be a #1 bike, 100% with some attention. So, anyways, guys, good luck bidding, and God bless America.
God bless America.